Have you ever wondered why some people manage to reach the pinnacle of success, accumulate wealth, and gain influence while others remain in the shadows? There is one of the most powerful principles that essentially governs our reality, and that is the mirror principle. It's not just an abstract idea from popular self-improvement books. It's an effective method that can fundamentally transform your life. The mirror functions as a reflection of our inner selves, like a finely tuned instrument. It doesn't just show us who we are at any given moment, but also generates external changes that match our inner state. Imagine that the world around you is a huge mirror, and its sole purpose is to reflect your thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions of yourself and reality. Once you comprehend how to manage this reflection, the doors to all kinds of achievements and opportunities will open before you. However, there is one important nuance that is often overlooked. Most people make critical mistakes when applying this principle. Instead of focusing on transforming their inner world, they try to influence their outer reflection, like trying to fix your hair by looking in the mirror but not touching your hair. Such efforts will not work unless you start by changing yourself. Dear viewers, before we move on to the main part of our program, I would like to cordially invite you to my unique Telegram channel, where I share intimate knowledge on how to manage your life and reach the pinnacle of success using the limitless power of the human mind. In one of my last posts, I revealed the secret of programming your own life code. It's not just a set of numbers, but a complex method based on psychological techniques that allows you to transform your inner attitudes and, as a result, change your destiny. The link to this channel you will find in the description under this video. Please show your interest and follow this link so that I can share my thoughts with you daily in text format and help you on your way to positive changes. With sincere respect, when we try to change the world around us without changing ourselves, we doom ourselves to a fruitless endeavor. It is like looking in the mirror and being dissatisfied with your reflection, and constantly changing only your facial expression or gestures without trying to understand what is behind the reflection. True transformation begins from within, with deep-seated beliefs and feelings. Many people spend years of effort trying to achieve success, wealth, and influence, but their efforts are often in vain. The reason is that they focus solely on transforming external circumstances, losing sight of the fact that it is a person's inner world that shapes their perception of reality. Imagine what happens when an individual gains unshakable self-confidence. At this point comes the realization that thoughts and feelings not only color personal perception of reality, but also have a direct impact on the interaction with the world around us. If a person is constantly haunted by the fear of failure, or the belief that success is the domain of the chosen ones, then the reflection in the mirror of the world will demonstrate exactly those events that only confirm these fears. Perhaps, on the path of life, we'll meet people who will reinforce these fears and doubts, or there will be situations in which a person will feel uncomfortable and insecure. However, as soon as the transformation of the inner self begins, changing thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, the external reality begins to transform. Internal attitudes become a kind of reference point that determines everything that happens around. When a person begins to believe in his own strengths and abilities, when he learns to recognize in any circumstances potential opportunities rather than insurmountable obstacles, his perception of the world changes dramatically. This inner transformation, like a mirror, reflects a new, optimistic outlook on life. It is important to remember that this mirror principle also applies to interpersonal relationships. How an individual feels about himself or herself has a direct impact on how he or she is perceived by others. Insecurity in oneself, as a rule, generates doubts in others. Conversely, the inner confidence radiating from a person generates respect and trust from others. Such a person becomes a kind of magnet, attracting favorable opportunities, interesting people, success and prosperity, because his inner state resonates harmoniously with external manifestations. However, one should realize that working on oneself is not an instant miracle. It is a gradual process that requires considerable time, patience, and constant effort. You should start small. You need to correct your thoughts, work on eliminating negative beliefs, and learn to control your emotions. Each step taken on the way to inner growth and harmony will transform reality, and external changes will begin to occur naturally, almost automatically, as a consequence of internal transformations. Probably, each of us visited the question, where to start the path to self-improvement? How to understand which internal aspects require correction? The answer lies in self-analysis, in realizing what we already know about ourselves. What emotions and feelings do we experience in relation to our own I and to the world around us? How do we see ourselves from the outside? What is our self-esteem and self-confidence? Understanding our weaknesses and shortcomings opens the door to personal growth, allowing us to focus on areas that need development and transformation. Sometimes, all it takes to experience change in your life is to believe in yourself, your potential, and your possibilities. One of the key principles that helps in this process is visualization. Visualize an ideal picture of your life. How you want to live, what heights you aspire to, how you see your relationships with others. It is important not just to think about it, but to feel these moments as if they have already become a reality. The more vividly and in detail you imagine the desired events, the faster they will materialize in your life. Of course, this does not mean that you can neglect the real actions and efforts necessary to achieve your goals. The principle of visualization does not cancel the practical steps, but it helps to tune in to the right wave, directing your energy and intentions in the right direction, thereby increasing the chances of success. This principle helps an individual to align their actions with their deepest desires and inner beliefs. Hence, if an individual aspires for success, material prosperity, and influence, he or she should start with introspection. It is necessary to look at oneself from the outside and honestly ask the question, what internal changes are required to transform the external reality? It is important to remember that the reflection in the mirror is always subjective and shows only what a person is ready to see. Having mastered this principle, one can turn even the most ambitious dreams into reality. When one realizes the power of the mirror principle, it becomes obvious that no event in life is random. All relationships, professional achievements, and failures are a direct consequence of the internal perception of yourself and the world around you. The external environment is only a reflection of internal attitudes and emotions, even if a person does not fully realize it. The question arises, why do many people, knowing about this principle, continue to repeat the same mistakes? The reason lies in the fact that often actions are made on the basis of ingrained patterns of behavior. Human beings tend to internalize certain behaviors and beliefs that are laid down in early childhood or formed throughout life. These beliefs are so powerful that individuals often do not realize how they predetermine their choices and actions. In fact, all of these limitations are merely a reflection of how a person interprets his or her own capabilities. For example, if from a young age was indoctrinated that money, something obscene, or that successful people, necessarily villains, then, even with the active pursuit of financial well-being, the deep subconscious attitudes will hinder efforts. This can manifest itself in the constant postponement of important financial decisions, fear of risk, or even in the rejection of promising opportunities. To remedy the situation, it is necessary to work with the subconscious mind in a targeted way, transforming outdated beliefs into new, more positive and supportive ones. This process takes time and patience, but once the inner world begins to be rebuilt, external events will begin to change on their own. The person will begin to make more informed decisions, be persistent in achieving goals, and move forward with confidence. Thus, life will begin to be filled with new perspectives and positive changes. No less significant element in the application of the mirror principle is a close observation of one's own emotional reactions. Emotions are a powerful indicator of how a person perceives the world around them. When an individual experiences feelings of joy, confidence, or gratitude, he or she emits vibrations into the surrounding space that can attract positive events and favorable encounters. On the contrary, when in a state of stress, anxiety, or anger, he generates negative vibrations that can manifest in his life in the form of failures and disappointments. In order to improve the quality of one's life, one must learn to regulate one's emotional expressions and channel them in a constructive way. This does not involve suppressing feelings, but rather recognizing them, understanding the reasons behind each emotion, and then channeling those emotions in a constructive way. For example, if a person experiences fear before making an important decision, instead of avoiding the feeling, he or she can perceive it as a stimulus for personal growth and positive change, and then use the experience to achieve their goals. Cultivating a sense of gratitude is also an essential step in the process of inner transformation. Gratitude is a kind of key to transforming the reality around us. When a person feels gratitude for what they already have, their mirror begins to reflect even more reasons for joy and fulfillment. The feeling of gratitude is a powerful catalyst that triggers a chain of favorable events, and as a consequence, a person's existence is filled with what he or she truly considers valuable. It is gratitude that makes it possible to notice all the bright sides of life, even in those moments when there seems to be very little. It creates a special vibration that attracts even more reasons to express gratitude. In the pursuit of success, many people focus their efforts on the impact on the world around them, while neglecting the inner work on themselves. It should be remembered that no external achievements cannot bring true satisfaction if a person has not learned to be happy inside himself. The mirror principle clearly demonstrates that happiness and success is not something that comes from the outside, but from within. The outside world merely reflects this inner radiation. A person can strive to increase income, acquire material goods, and all these are certainly important components of well-being, but they cannot become a source of happiness if there is no work on the inner state. Success begins with a person's attitude to himself, his inner mood and perception of the surrounding reality. Changing one's perception changes everything around: one's life, one's environment, and one's success. This is the colossal power of the mirror principle. It clearly demonstrates that man is the architect of his own destiny, that it is his inner state that determines the world around him. It is possible to reach the heights of wealth, success, happiness, and love, but only by transforming what happens in the depths of the soul. It is necessary to look at yourself and your life as a reflection of the desired future, and then reality will begin to change, like a mirror, reflecting this inner world. It is worth remembering that our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are projected onto the surrounding reality, shaping it in accordance with our inner content. And as a result, by working on ourselves, we can radically change our life, turning it into the one we have always dreamed